Picture this. You're cruising along growing totally normally at 12, 13, maybe 14 years old. Your trajectory is looking fantastic, and then suddenly, bam, nothing. Your height growth completely flatlines. Well, if that's happening to you, you know how incredibly frustrating it is. But here's the good news. It's not something you just have to accept. We just need to pop the hood and look at the biology.
Section 1. The genetic ceiling myth.
To really figure this out, we've first got to dismantle the absolute biggest excuse out there, which is just blaming your genetics. Look, your genetics merely set a ceiling, right? They establish your maximum potential height. But the reality is, your genes are actively trying to help you reach that limit. So if a hidden deficiency, say a severe lack of vitamin D, is halting your bone growth, well, that's not a genetic mistake. That's a nutritional roadblock keeping you from your actual genetic destiny. And this points to a really surprising, honestly kind of crazy quirk of human biology. Your body can suffer from dozens of these hidden deficiencies without showing a single obvious symptom. You might wake up feeling totally normal every day, but internally, your body is actually struggling just to survive. Your physical growth slows down, your brain development takes a hit, cognitive performance dips, and you basically end up never actually reaching your full physical potential. But remember, your genetics actually want you to grow. So the absolute best first step here is figuring out exactly what's holding them back. Getting a comprehensive blood test from your doctor gives you the hard data. It lets you see if any of these invisible deficiencies are secretly stepping on the brake pedal of your growth.
Section 2. Your hormonal growth engine.
So how does this actually translate into the physical machinery of growing taller? Well, it relies on a super fascinating biological chain reaction involving 3 main hormones. First up, your pituitary gland releases human growth hormone, or HGH, mostly while you're in deep sleep. That HGH travels straight down to your liver, which then converts it into our second key player, IGF-1. This is the crucial messenger that literally commands your bone growth plates to expand. And working right alongside all of this is hormone number 3, testosterone, which amplifies the whole effect during puberty. It supports bone density and muscle growth, basically making your entire frame look larger.
But, here is the hidden roadblock that can derail this entire beautiful system: chronic stress. When you're stressed out, your body pumps out cortisol. And make absolutely no mistake, cortisol is the direct enemy of HGH. High cortisol levels suppress your HGH release. They block the production of IGF-1, and they even lower your testosterone. So even if your genetics are amazing and your nutrition is 100% on point, chronic stress can quietly cap your growth potential.
So how do we turn that growth machine back on? Fighting cortisol is key. And it turns out getting a minimum of 8 hours of sleep is completely non-negotiable. Why? Because 70 to 80% of your daily HGH is released during deep sleep, especially in those first few hours after you drift off. Honestly, cutting your sleep short is literally turning off your own growth machine. The other big secret weapon here, using magnesium. It regulates your nervous system and totally calms that cortisol production down. Magnesium acts as a trigger for much deeper, far more restorative sleep. And that sets off that awesome chain reaction of more HGH and more IGF-1. To get enough of it, you really want to load up on specific nutrient-dense foods. Think nuts, leafy green veggies, dark chocolate, yes, you heard that right, and avocados. Okay, now this next point is absolutely fascinating, and it's something almost everyone completely overlooks. Even if your diet is totally flawless and you're sleeping like a rock for 9 hours a night, you might actually be sabotaging your hormone production every single morning, right in your own bathroom. Go take a look at your shampoo bottle. Many everyday shampoos are packed with harsh sulfates, parabens, and all sorts of synthetic junk. These chemicals act as endocrine disruptors. That means they actually absorb straight into your scalp and directly interfere with your hormone production. We're talking about the exact same hormones, like HGH, that are responsible for your height. You're putting in all this hard work to grow, only to wash your hair with a product that's quietly working against you. The fix? Super simple. Just switch to naturally derived, chemical-free alternatives that clean your scalp without messing with your hormones. Section 3. The body's priority system. This brings us to a massively critical realization about optimal protein for growing teens. You really have to understand how your brain actually distributes the food you eat. Think of your body as a high-stakes triage center. Whenever nutrients enter your system, your brain decides exactly where they go first, strictly based on survival. Priority number 1, your vital organs. Your brain, your heart, your liver.
Once those are fed, priority 2 is your immune system. Then priority 3 is muscle tissue. And only if there is enough surplus protein and nutrients left over after all of that does your brain finally allocate resources to priority 4, bone growth. That means height is literally sitting at the absolute bottom of your biological priority list.
Because height is treated as a biological luxury rather than a hardcore survival necessity, eating only 30 or 40 grams of protein a day is a guaranteed way to stay short. Your vital organs and your immune system will just gobble up every single gram of that protein just to keep you alive and kicking, which means there is absolutely nothing left over for your bone growth plates. You're quite literally starving your potential.
Section 4, calculating optimal teen protein. So, to create that necessary biological surplus, where your body actually has the raw materials lying around to build taller bones, we need to calculate your exact optimal protein intake. The formula is surprisingly simple, and it's based entirely on your activity level. If you aren't hitting the gym, your optimal multiplier is 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. But if you're doing intense exercise, your muscles are demanding way more resources, which bumps that multiplier right up to 2.2.
Let's look at how this math works out in the real world. Say you're a 45-kilogram teenager who hits the gym and lifts weights. You fall into that higher tier. So, multiplying your 45 kilograms by the 2.2 multiplier means your precise daily goal for optimal growth is exactly 99 grams of protein. And hey, alongside that massive protein surplus, we absolutely cannot forget about the actual minerals that make up the bone itself. Getting the recommended 1,000 milligrams of daily calcium is the final, crucial ingredient your brain needs to actually approve and execute that bone growth once the protein surplus is locked in.
As we've seen today, unlocking optimal growth isn't just about sitting around and waiting for your genetics to do the heavy lifting. It's an incredibly active process. You're removing invisible deficiencies, managing your stress, protecting your hormones, and mathematically ensuring you hit that optimal protein surplus. So, when you look at how you're fueling yourself every single day, the only question left to ask is this: are you going to keep starving your growth engine, or are you finally going to give it what it needs to thrive?